The title of our poem is Crossing the Bar by Alfred Lord Tennyson. It is a Victorian poem published in the year 1889. In our next section, we're going to address who the speaker is, the audience, and the tone. The speaker is the sailor. He's the person who embraces death and does not fear it at the same time. The audience. The narrator is addressing their personal acquaintances, friends and family, telling them to have no sadness of farewell, as shown in line 11. The tone is peaceful and reassuring. The diction of a calm sea at sunset is a very inviting, comforting thought. The words flow very softly, which is reassuring and rhythmic.
Next, we'll be addressing the situation, the central purpose, the theme, and the structure of the poem. The situation describes a person on their deathbed telling their loved ones not to worry as they cross the bar into death. The central purpose is reassuring their loved ones that they are prepared to die because they are peaceful and ready to embark into the next life. The theme is to die with dignity and pride. The poem is indented in every other line, which resembles a wave. It gives the image of a wave crashing on the beach, which is a very peaceful and soothing noise. Next, we'll be addressing the literary devices. The first is imagery. The sea and the tide describe a peaceful setting. The sunset and evening star in line 1 show that it's getting towards night, where the sun is setting and the stars are coming out, as we interpret it as the end of his life. The bar is the obstacle he crosses into death, also as we interpret it as the light you see before death. Personification is the next literary device. A tide as moving seems asleep. Tennyson describes the incoming tide as being asleep because of its lack of sound and foam. The next is symbols. The bar, as we said, represents the light. The pilot is an allusion to God, the conductor of life. And born is the river of life. The next is illusion. As we said, the pilot equals God. We're going to see the pilot face to face, which we interpreted as a sailor crossing into another life where he will be face to face with God.
Next, we're going to read and analyze the poem Crossing the Bar. Sunset and evening star and one clear call for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. These first 4 lines describe the speaker telling his personal acquaintances and his family to not mourn over his death when it happens. The bar is referencing a sandbar which sometimes obstructs the passage of a ship from the harbor into open water. An old superstition held that whenever a death occurred, the outgoing tide moaned as it rolled over this bar. Lines 1, 2, and 4 are in iambic trimeter, whereas line 3 is in iambic pentameter. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. In this stanza, the speaker is being lured into death as he's being lulled asleep during his final time. In this stanza, lines 5 and 7 are in iambic pentameter, line 6 is in iambic trimeter, and line 8 is iambic dimeter. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. In this stanza, the speaker is talking about how he's going through the lightness and into the dark, and he's once again reassuring his family and friends not to mourn over his death. Lines 9 and 10 are in iambic trimeter, line 11 is iambic pentameter, and line 12 is iambic. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. In this stanza, the speaker is talking about how after he dies he hopes he can face God. Lines 13 and 15 are in iambic pentameter, and lines 14 and 16 are iambic trimeter.